Ferguson allegedly asked Jeffrey Epstein for employment during a severe financial crisis in 2010. At that time, Epstein was already a convicted sex offender under house arrest in Florida. Critics argue the timing alone raises uncomfortable ethical questions. Supporters counter that desperation can distort judgment.
Do you know where they are right now, Andrew and Sarah?
Well, Andrew is supposedly in Sandringham. He's been taken from Royal Lodge overnight on Monday. No one knows where Sarah Ferguson is. I mean, she could be travelling in the Far East, staying in hotels there. She could be in a clinic somewhere with depression. She could be hiding at a rich pal's home. No one knows. She hasn't been seen now for almost 2 months.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, more to come, I suppose. We'll see what's happened with her.
It takes your breath away, doesn't it? And it's disturbing, frankly. We knew before what destroyed Sarah's reputation.
It might have all just ended for Sarah Ferguson, as reports are that she just got arrested by the FBI. And the reason? She allegedly took $50 million from Jeffrey Epstein over the years. Not the 15,000 pounds she admitted to publicly. $50 million. Hidden probably in some offshore accounts, funneled through dissolved companies, payments spanning over a decade.
You know, they were running, I think we've talked about this before, running all sorts of businesses which had no accounts, and you kind of wonder what was going on. Was this money laundering?
And just like Prince Andrew, who was arrested for his Epstein connections, they came for her next. Because those emails that dropped weren't just embarrassing, they were evidence of something. Evidence of a financial relationship that went way deeper than anyone knew. And the FBI followed the money trail all the way to Sarah Ferguson's door. And she was most likely on the run, which just makes matters worse.
Do you know where they are right now, Andrew and Sarah?
Well, Andrew is supposedly in Sandringham. He's been taken from Royal Lodge overnight on Monday. No one knows where Sarah Ferguson is.
Everything started falling apart for Sarah when the Department of Justice releases over 3 million pages of Epstein files, the biggest document dump in the entire investigation. And buried in those millions of pages, Sarah Ferguson's emails to Jeffrey Epstein.
Many of Epstein's survivors have been publicly pushing for years to have these documents come out, but it took a law passed with near unanimous support in Congress to finally bring these documents to light.
The emails were bad, really bad. May 2010, she's begging Epstein for a job, actually asking to be his house assistant because she desperately needed money, writing things like, "I need to make money and can you help me?" But it gets worse. She called him the brother I have always wished for, called him my would-be husband, called him a legend. This is after he was already a convicted sex offender, after he'd already been to prison for soliciting a minor. And Sarah Ferguson is writing love letters to this man asking for money. Then there were the crude emails. March 2010, she's writing to Epstein about her daughter Eugenie going on a shagging weekend. Who talks to a convicted sex offender about their daughter like that? Who sends those kinds of messages to someone everyone knows is a predator? All of these are to show how deep their relationship goes. Of course, the public knew about the 15,000 pounds payment. That came out years ago. Sarah admitted Epstein helped pay off some of her debts in 2010. She apologized, said it was a terrible mistake, said she didn't know the full extent of his crimes at the time, but FBI agents reading those emails most likely saw something nobody else caught. Codes languages, the kind of coded language people use when they're talking about money they don't want documented.
New emails in a tranche under review by the US Congress claim Jeffrey Epstein secretly bankrolled Sarah Ferguson for 15 years, far beyond the 15,000 pounds she admitted taking.
This most likely made the FBI open a financial investigation, and what they found reportedly connected directly to Sarah Ferguson. $50 million spread across multiple accounts, all of it connected back to Sarah through a web of dissolved companies that she controlled.
You know, they were running, I think we've talked about this before, running all sorts of businesses which had no accounts, and you kind of wonder what was going on. Was this money laundering?
2026. 6 of Sarah Ferguson's companies filed to dissolve within 1 week. S. Phoenix Events Limited, Fergie's Farm Limited, Sarah Duchess of York Film and Television Production Limited. All shut down. All paperwork filed to close them permanently. And her charity, Sarah's Trust, also shut down. a charity she'd been running for years, suddenly closed right when the Epstein files dropped and the FBI started asking questions. They tracked payments from Epstein's accounts to these companies, consulting fees of $500,000 here, $1 million donation there. Over the years, it added up. $50 million moving from Epstein to Sarah Ferguson through legitimate-looking business transactions. So the question now is, what business did she have with Jeffrey Epstein that was worth $50 million? I mean, she was caught asking for help paying debts. She obviously wasn't some business mogul with expertise Epstein needed. So what was the $50 million actually for? Well, it is believable that Sarah provided something valuable. Access. Access to the royal family, wealthy British elite, events and people Epstein couldn't reach on his own. And while this might not seem too serious to be paid for, trust me, it is. Because now, all the past information starts to make sense. Sarah Ferguson visited Epstein just 5 days after he was released from prison in 2009. She brought her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, with her to his mansion in New York. Why would you take your teenage daughters to visit a convicted sex offender 5 days after he gets out of prison? Unless you're showing him you're still in his corner. It is now alleged that the $50 million wasn't just for access, it was for silence. Sarah knew things. She saw things at Epstein's properties. She knew who was there, what was happening, who was involved, and Epstein paid her to stay quiet about all of it. That's definitely worth $50 million. Keeping a member of the British royal family quiet about an international trafficking operation, making sure she never talks about what she witnessed, never mentions names, never cooperates with investigators, and for years it worked. Sarah stayed quiet, took the money, protected Epstein even after he was convicted, even after the allegations became public, even after victims started coming forward. But when those emails dropped in January, everything changed. The public saw her desperation, her crude messages, her relationship with Epstein after his conviction. And the FBI? They saw the financial connections. So when Prince Andrew gets arrested for misconduct in public office and sharing confidential UK trade documents with Epstein, everyone knew she'd be next.
Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
So she did what she thought was smart, probably her biggest mistake. Sarah Ferguson disappeared. Royal biographers confirmed she was last seen in Doha, Qatar. Just vanished, stopped appearing at public events. No social media posts, no statements. She was gone. People thought she was hiding, avoiding arrest, running from the FBI investigation that was closing in on her, and they were right. So the FBI most certainly tracked her movements, coordinated with international authorities in secrecy, and when they found her, they arrested her. Extradition proceedings began immediately. Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, former member of the British royal family, in FBI custody, allegedly facing charges related to Jeffrey Epstein. The charges would most likely be money laundering, conspiracy, and potentially aiding Epstein's criminal enterprise. She did a lot, and each one carrying decades in prison if convicted. More royals could be implicated, more payments could be discovered, because $50 million is a lot of money. But it might not be all of it. There could be more accounts, more companies, more people who took Epstein's money and helped him operate. Sarah Ferguson is facing decades in prison if convicted. Her reputation is already destroyed. And she's sitting in custody knowing she took $50 million to allegedly enable a predator. Whether she cooperates with investigators or stays silent will determine what happens next. But either way, the cover-up is over, the money trail is exposed, and Sarah Ferguson's arrest proves that even royals answer to the law eventually, at least when the FBI comes calling.